All right. Let's see here. We're cold. I'm cold. I'm trying to warm up. Was just outside. All right. Let's get this loaded up.
For people like you, only try to drive the kids arounders. Or you, empty nesters who hardly ever drive anymore. Why pay a lot if you don't drive a lot? See what you...
All right. Let's pause that and wait for some people to come in here. Say hello to everybody. Welcome in to the watch through of episode 5 of Solve for Wise Poker Out Loud, followed by episode 64 of the Raising the Nuts live stream, Thursday nights, every Thursday night. Let me get this loaded up so I get the comments in here. Make sure this is going. There we go. Okay. If you guys are here in the chat, what's up, Daniel Kim? What's up, Steven? How's it going? Welcome in. Let me know how the sound is on everything, since you guys are always here early. And if you guys are just joining me, or if you are watching the replay, please hit the like button. That will bring more people into the stream in the future and later on today. This episode's a good one, I think. I think last week was a little boring for me for some of the action for my hands, but I think this week is going to be pretty interesting. There's a couple different spots that I'm involved in, so we're going to get into it pretty quickly. I thought I might have a guest on tonight, but it didn't end up working out. But maybe next week we'll have a little guest on while we do the watch through. So we'll get into that. A couple other things. If you guys enjoy this live stream that we do every Thursday night, check out the podcast that Jody and I do every Wednesday. It comes out Wednesday, 5 a.m. It's also the Raising Nuts podcast. Episode 87 came out yesterday. I think it was actually really funny. We actually talked a lot about poker and how people perceive me in the poker world and other things about that. So if you check that out, if you go to search for Raising Nuts on any podcast platform, and you can find that there. Additionally, if you like to get any kind of merchandise, Raising Nuts merchandise, or any other poker merchandise, go to pokerrags.us. And that's about it for those things. All right, let's get started, guys. I know there's not a lot of people here, but people will filter in as we get going. If you have any questions, send them in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. In this episode, let me bring this up here. Let's see. So in this episode, we start with... What hand does this start? I think we're on hand number 47. Hand number 47 of the session. Oh yeah, I do want to, actually, before we even get started on this, I want to address a comment that somebody made from last week's live stream, just because I think it's interesting. Let me see if I can find the comment here. I'm going to bring it up over here. So I won't show it on the actual TV, on the actual screen, because I'm not good with that type of stuff, but we'll get into that in a second. Let me see here. All right, just give me a second. Here you go. So somebody said, "Hey man, aren't these guys your poker comrades? I hate being negative, but I'm feeling some of your comments are kind of insulting to your fellow YouTube poker friends. Maybe I'm just wrong in my thoughts. Really like the no one bluffs after Johnny went 4-4 bet bluff 2." So he's referring to last week's live stream where I was saying things about my opponent's play, I guess. I responded to him pretty in depth. Actually, I wrote a really long thing out. But basically, if I say that I think somebody's making a mistake in a poker hand, or they don't know what they're doing in a poker hand, I'm not insulting them individually. Like with poker, if somebody thinks that I make some bad plays, or they think, yeah, I probably did. I probably make bad plays every single day. That's kind of just how poker is. And if you say that somebody's kind of like lost in a hand, or they clearly have no idea what they're talking about in a hand, I'm not insulting them as a person. I just think that maybe that they aren't well versed in a situation, and there's plenty of situations that come up where I'm not well versed either. So it's definitely no personal insult. Let me answer these questions real quick. Yeah, Daniel, they are doing the Solve for Why vlogcast right now, so he couldn't make it. Steven want to know who, including yourself, was the best player in the Solve for Why vlogger session. It's really hard to say. Obviously, we only played 90 hands. It's really hard to get a real good grasp for people's games in that period of time. I was very impressed with how Matt played, especially given the seat that he drew. He had the worst seat at the table by far. I was on his direct left, then Landon on my left. So I think he had the worst seat, and he was relentless. He kept coming after it. He wasn't afraid to put money in the pot, And as we've watched the watch-throughs, his thoughts have been really, really good and coherent. So I thought he played really well. What mental shift do you need to make when going from lots of PLO to no limit? For me, it's about patience, really, honestly, because PLO, you get to get in there and get into a lot more spots, where no limit, you're kind of restricted in a lot of different ways. So that's probably the biggest thing, is patience. All right, let's get started on this. Let's get it going. Let me know if the sound on the Solve for Why video is good for you guys. Alright, let's zoom ahead here. Alright.
I haven't had any hands open in a while. What feels like a while, at least. This is a pretty easy open under the gun.
So we get a little spicy right away. Open ace-3 suited on the gun, very standard. This is hand number 47, as I said.
All right.
And like I said here, prior to this, so I hadn't put money into the pot for the last, let's see, looks like last hand I put money into the pot was hand number 36. So this is hand number 47. So there's been, 2 orbits basically that I haven't been able to put money in the pot. So open ace-3 suited under the gun.
Feels like I've been 3-betting way too often though. And facing Trevor's unreal range, I kind of give him some respect for having a tighter range and opening here. So we're just gonna call this and see what develops.
Alright, very similar spot to the last time when I 4-bet Marley. My hand's a little bit better this time. Obviously having 2 Broadways in my hand is great. Like I said before, I expect Trevor to be wider than the rest of the players from under the gun, and I expect Ethan to be pretty wide here in later position, just with the call here. So I think obviously I have the best hand the majority of the time, and if I don't, and plays margin pretty well post flop, so I'm more than happy with 3-betting this one. With the extra dead money in here, I'm going to go a little bit bigger than 4x, perhaps 5x or more from the small blind, given that I'm going to be out of position. Obviously, if Trevor calls, it might incentivize Ethan to call too, so all the more reason to punish them a little bit more with the bigger raise.
So I think Johnny's 3-bet here is pretty good. It's not mandatory. You shouldn't be flatting this spot at all, but I do. So if you're going to play the hand, I think 3-betting is the best option. Given the fact that I've opened pretty wide so far, they don't know that necessarily, but they know that I've played a lot of pots so far, although I haven't been very active in the last 11 hands. Whether Ethan should 3-bet or flat with his hand, I think in these types of lineups, I would prefer to just 3-bet. But he can't really go too wrong either way. I think it's just gonna play better 3-betting and getting heads up in a lot of situations. And he has an ace in his hand, I'm way less likely to have an ace to 4-bet him with. So but once Johnny 3-bets here, that makes sense obviously, and then gets to me. And so here's where the way that I play poker, especially live poker, is, I understand how to construct ranges, but I also have played many, many hands. So I always come at the viewpoint of what's happening directly in front of me right now. And then if I don't have a good idea of what I think is happening, as in I'm not sure whether Johnny's strong or weak here, then I'll defer back to how I should be constructing my ranges from a macro lens, and what hand should I be 4-betting with. So in this spot, I kind of felt like he didn't have that great of a hand, but I wasn't 100% sure, which you'll hear me say, like I'm not loving this, but my hand just plays so much better as a 4-bet than as a flat, inviting Ethan in. And then what happens is when you're in these situations post-flop, now you're in a situation where you're squeezed in the middle post-flop. So the person who has the aggressive, has the lead pre-flop and has like the stronger range 3-betting now has the lead, and I'm going to have to make decisions on the flop with the player who's still left to act behind me. So the player out of position can leverage that against me. So by 4-betting, I then can obviously just win the pot pre-flop, or especially being 200 big blinds deep, I can put my opponents in pretty difficult situations pre-flop where they're not sure how to navigate.
So we get flatted by Ethan and 3-bet by Johnny. Ethan's flat. It's going to be a lot of pocket pairs, suited broadways type hands. Johnny can be squeezing with a bunch of different hands here, I think. He's been pretty tight for the most part. But I have a really good hand to 4-bet here with, and I was under the gun, so I have really good hands here. So I'm going to put in a 4-bet. Don't love it, but I think it's a good hand to go with. I like it better than flatting and letting Ethan come in, so I'm going to put it in.
Usually have the best hand. I totally disagree with. I assume that's you're saying from Johnny's perspective. It depends on how wide I'm opening under the gun. In this session already, I've opened Queen 10 offsuit under the gun. And if I'm opening that hand, then I'm opening a ton of hands. So it's not that he's definitely probably, he doesn't usually have the best hand here, but it's a good hand to 3-bet with when he has a king and a queen in his hand because it just blocks a lot. It blocks ace king, blocks ace queen, blocks kings and queens. It's very a good candidate to 3-bet with in his spot. How many hands per hour were getting played this game? About 10 we played. We played 9 hours and we played 90 hands total. So about 10, and there was lots of walks actually. So it really depended on how many big hands were happening. And I don't know how that would compare to full ring live PLO because I've only actually played full ring live PLO like 2 times. So, I play all my PLO online where I'm getting way more hands per hour, obviously.
One of the issues for us not 3-betting is letting someone else 3-bet, but now that we see a 4-bet, we're just going to easily get out of here and let the 2 battle it out.
This is definitely unfortunate, given that Trevor raced under the gun. He definitely could be using his perceived tight range to his advantage here and turning a hand like ace 5 suited into a 4-bet bluff spot, thinking that I'm squeezing here. Problem is if I jam it in with the king queen, he definitely has enough to fold here. And given that he's in position and made it 420, I actually like his sizing here. It's definitely tough for me to continue though with this hand out of position. Really tough spot. I'm thinking that all options are on the table. Definitely can find a fold here, definitely can find a call. Wish my hand was suited. I'd be more likely to call if my hand was suited, but I think it's going to come down to an all-in or a fold. Well, I think that I'm just going to fold here, and if Trevor has ace rag suited, so be it. Congratulations, Trevor, you owned me.
It's pretty crazy how, if I'm going to 4-bet bluff, I just had an ant that I had to kill there. If I'm going to 4-bet bluff, my hands are going to be the ace-x suited, so those are the hands that he can point to in my bluff range that that would be owning him. It's not really owning him. Whether he should 5-bet jam his hand, it's very difficult in these positions. It's obviously easy when you see the hands what you should do, but king queen does have some really good. The reasons for jamming king queen here are that my bluffs are going to have an ace in them, which he does not have. My calls, my 4-bet calls are going to have. Thank you very much. I have a sandwich delivered to me. Nice. My 4-bet calls are going to be hands like aces, kings, queens, ace, king. So of those hands, a king and a queen are contained in most of them. So when he has a hand like king, queen, it does good. And then additionally, if I do 4-bet a hand like jacks or tens and decide to 4-bet call those, then obviously king, queen has fine equity against those. So there's definitely some reasonings for jamming, reasons you can profitably jam this hand against an aggressive opponent who's going to be bluffing sometimes. Obviously, if I have a hand like aces, you're in bad shape. If I have a hand like kings, bad shape. Hand like queens, bad shape. So it's a tough situation. Easy to see when the cards are up, but happy it worked out for me. Obviously, what's up, Dalton? How's it going? Am I soft? I'm not soft anymore. Listen to the podcast. You know that, Dalton. Also, if you guys are just joining, hit that like button. Dalton said, also, everyone here every week knows how much you grind and the effort you put in your career. Personally, I want to say thank you and love your work, brother. Thank you very much. This is going to be a Trevor mukbang. That's right. I had to show him the 3.
Ace 3 Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I was like, if he has it, then he owns me.
You're sensing 2 3s on the flop. Yeah, 2 3s coming. 3 3 4. 3 3 4 flop. You saved money.
I knew that this was a spot where Trevor could be relying on his position that he opened from, which was early position, and then the fact that he had a blocker in his hand, he had the ace, and then the fact that I'm making a squeeze play from the small blind. Like, all these factors go into he either has a really strong hand or he's turning a hand like ace rag suited into a bluff.
The benefits to 4-betting are that you get to knock Ethan out of the pot, and obviously you can just win. I have a strong range opening under the gun, even though I guess I don't really have a strong range opening under the gun because of all the hands that I was opening. I didn't think that Johnny had that good of a hand in that spot, so again, field-based play. So I felt like it was going to work more often than not.
Now it's like, do I fold and take the safe route, and because nobody's going to care if I fold king queen off to a 4-bet, or am I bold and I go for it? I found in poker so often when you're bold and you go for it, those are like what the hands that people talk about. Those are the ones that make you the hero in the situation. And you're not playing poker to be a hero. You just hopefully collect more of these moments where you made a bold, great decision. The point here is that he's bluffing with his hand, and I have the opportunity to be a hero and rebluff him, or I have the opportunity to take the safe route and fold. And in that spot, I decided to take the safe route and fold. Perhaps in the future, no spoilers, I might take the bold route and go for it.
Couple of things here, guys. All right, Jamie, what's up, man? Thank you very much. What are the best cities in the USA for live cash 2-5 games looking to move over from Ireland soon? I'm honestly not sure, but if I had to guess, I would say anywhere in Texas or Florida are the places that you probably want to be going for live 2-5 games. I play online, so I don't know too much about the live scenes, but that's what I heard from that stuff. Steven said, I'll say, I think you're the most experienced, best player in this lineup. Well, I think I'm definitely the most experienced. I don't think any of them have played. I played for a living for 16 years, so I don't know if I've played, if any of them have played longer than that. Yeah, listen to Daniel Kim. Put that thumbs up. Min, what's going on? I have it's a tomato mozzarella sandwich. What's up, Presley? How's it going, buddy? Yeah, shirt's on the way. I think Jody ordered it. Hopefully you got it soon. Did they not send an invite to Brad or Andrew? I think they would have pulled some viewers. I know that both were invited and both could not make it. Were these video commentaries all requested by Software after you got home? I actually recorded those ones like 2 weeks ago, maybe. Orange City, yeah, I've heard that's good in Florida. Sorry, guys, I didn't get to eat dinner, so we gotta do it now.
Alright, so obviously gonna open this here. Not much to say about it. So that's a good hand, and put money in the pot.
30.
No beef in the sandwich, Daniel.
God damn it!
I did a 3-deuce suited there. Can't defend.
No action.
Let's see if they've missed any hands here. Let's see. Trying to see the next interesting hand to come up.
So this is going to be a hand that I'm going to open on the button for sure, and with the dynamics that have been going on with Trevor, I will most likely call a 3-bet as well.
Third.
No reg. This is just gonna be a call, and we're gonna play some pots.
What's going on, Mike? How's my son doing out there? Tag team mukbang. I like the idea. New tradition. Trevor has to eat a sandwich on stream when Jody eats a salad.
So this is,
by the way, guys, it was Dalton's birthday last week. We got to shout out Dalton's birthday.
Better flop for my range than his, so I can bet a high frequency. But I also, with my exact hand, have a lot of backdoor potential. So I'm going to have a lot of cards I can continue barreling on. It is somewhat connected, so it's not like the driest board where I'm going to bet everything. So I'm not going to use as small in the sizing as I would on some more disconnected boards. I think I'm just going to go for around half pot and go from there.
Matt, Matt's thoughts have been really
It's
on point.
unfortunate, but if the ace was a heart, I would consider check raising and doing some fun stuff, but definitely can't do it this one. I have some discipline here.
This card's a little kind of.
Is marking cards on us?
It's not bad, but it's a little.
You
bit.
marking cards on us, Matt?
Yeah. You got me.
That's how you know I didn't have an ace and I 4-bet you, huh?
All right, so the next hand after this, it looks like Ethan got a walk. So this was another button that I folded that they didn't show. I actually folded 3 straight buttons where I think I had 10 deuce off or 7 deuce off or 8 deuce off every time. So in the next hand of this is, let's see, yeah, this is me folding a cutoff with Queen 6 offsuit. And Landon opening
Open.
normal.
I feel like Landon on the button here should be opening fairly wide. But in the small blind, we'll just defend and see a flop. It's pretty playable. 3-bet probably makes more sense, but sliding is fine, I think.
So I think there's a couple different ways to go about this. I don't know what the best is in these lineups and with the rate consideration. But personally, I just take a stance where I think you just do so much better by 3-betting from the small blind in these spots because a lot of good things happen. Obviously, 1, just taking aggressive action. 2, you're knocking the big blind out of the pot the vast majority of the time. 3, you can just win the pot pre-flop as is. And then 4, you have the initiative if you get flatted. The bad things that happen, obviously, is if you're facing an aggressive opponent who's likely to 4-bet sometimes. But when you're this deep, you can just take it to the streets if you want and 3-bet from small blind and flat a 4-bet. But yeah, so I just take this route most of the time. I'm usually going to be taking aggressive action in these type of lineups. When you have a weaker player in the big blind, if you have somebody who is likely to make big mistakes and you want to include them in the pot, then you can consider flatting these spots more often.
Just gonna check here.
Okay, cool. This spot, he's going to have a lot of small pairs and suited cards. If you look at the suits of our hand, we don't block him from having a hand like 6-7 suited or a hand like Ace-7 suited. However, in this spot, I think that he would 3-bet both of those hands, button versus small blind. So we have a nice spot to bet small with our range on this paired board, and probably just fold facing the check raise because we have a lot better hands to continue with, hands that have backdoors, hands that have straight draws, and over pairs, and then obviously trips and 4x. So here we're just going to bet really small. There's about 7 in the pot, so we're just going to go 25, and expect to win a good bit of the time. But if he does raise, we're just going to find a fold.
So good thoughts from Landon there, I think. What's up, Ben Adler?
Alright, this is where I'm not really too familiar, but with King High on this board, I feel like a lot of the times should be good here in the head. Definitely have more 7s in range.
He shouldn't have more 7s. I saw people commenting on this. The button's going to have more 7s than the small blind should. The small blind should be 3-betting some of his strong, like Ace-7 suited, 6-7 suited, 8-7 suited type hands, and really not flatting hands like Jack-7 suited or Queen-7 suited, whereas the button will be opening those hands all the time. And same thing with hands like 5-7 suited and 10-7 suited. Like, so the button definitely has more 7s than the small blind here. Whether he should continue with King-9 here on this board is close, but probably not. I don't know for sure, but I would guess against somebody who, like Landon, who's a good aggressive player, who's going to be able to barrel multiple streets well, and you're not going to have a lot of ways to get to showdown properly with your King High. And it's not like you have backdoor diamonds. You don't have a backdoor straight draw. So I think this is probably just a fold. Jody did watch some of these with me.
I can try to get him to fold. I mean, I feel like if I call here, it kind of just opens myself to play a pot out of position and kind of, I don't know, I feel like raising here. There's not a ton of merit to raising because I feel like on a rainbow board, chips are definitely more likely to slow play, but I mean, I just have more of them, so trying to talk myself out of raising, or maybe even out of calling. I'm not entirely sure, but we're kind of thinking king high might be good.
I definitely feel for Rampage in these spots because he really has no idea what to do. And when you don't know what to do and you have to try to talk about what to do, it's very difficult. And so, especially when you're playing against people who know what they're doing. So, I feel for him being in the spot, but kudos to him obviously for putting himself in this spot to make these, to have to talk about his thought process and learn from it.
So we'll float one and see a turn.
Mike, I don't know when the next time I'm coming to Florida is. I'll let you know though. Bink?
Okay. Ace high here. We have just enough showdown versus worse offsuit broadways that float, basically trying to hit a pair. And then he might have some backdoor flush draw hands that he's going to try to realize his equity with for as cheap as possible and not really play a check raise. And it makes sense just because he's sure he has some 7x and some 4x as well for like some small suited stuff. But I also just have hands like that in full where I also just have over pairs of easy continues. So in this spot, I'm going to check with my showdown, and then depending on what the river is, we might be able to find a bluff. I would check some of my flush draws here too, just in case if the spade does appear, I do actually have some strong hands as well. That's why you can't just always bet your flush draws on the turn. And with ace high, I just have enough showdown to check down if he checks the river as well.
Good thoughts from Landon here.
So, obviously we see probably the best turn card we can ask for. And him checking back gives us a lot of information where we're probably good here. But given this board, if we're betting, like, I don't even know what to get called by, like, eights are going to have to fold.
All right, so this is actually a pretty interesting river spot for Rampage in the spot. And he just said eights are going to have to fold. That is definitely not true. Also, the 10 is pretty much a blank in the sense that Landon's not going to have very many 10s. Maybe ace 10 and maybe queen 10 and king 10. But all the other 10s, jack 10, 8 10, if he opened a hand like 10 6 suited on the button, those are all going to barrel the turn. So the 10 is not that bad of a card at all. And when Landon bets flop, checks back turn, he is almost always going to have some sort of ace high type hand or a 4x hand or some kind of pair. And king 9 is just going to be the best hand here a lot. So I think we should just be going for a small value here basically on the river all the time.
And it just seems fairly unlikely that we're, on the turn at least, that we were behind. So, I don't know, we're going to give him a chance to bluff at it because I don't think we get much value if we were to bet and just bluff catch pretty much.
The other thing is if we're bluff catching here, it's because when we look at the board texture, it's because we think he's going to have a hand like king jack or king queen that's going to turn it into a bluff on this run out. And we have a king in our hand, so that blocks him for having that. There's just really not that many hands that would be bet, check, bet bluffs in this spot because all of his air on this type of board texture would be double barreling these cards, except for hands like maybe queen jack and king queen, maybe like a queen 8 suited, but I think that might even just be barreling again also. Dalton, would I do this again? Yeah, I would definitely do it again. Agree, interested to hear Landon's thought process. What's up, Mike Trout? And what's the BJ in a grapefruit called? I forget what it was called again. It was from Girls Trip. What was it called? It's just called grapefruit, isn't it?
Showdown with our hand to check back. And we're going to win versus some worse stuff. We're going to chop with some other ace highs. And I expect that most of the time we're probably going to lose to a small pair. But our hand's too good to bluff. We also have really bad properties of bluff with holding ace of spades. So we're going to check back.
I am just by far the least competent and least experienced poker player in the field. So the whole point was to expose like one for me to like know how little I know about poker and like where to actually start diving into. Obviously, this is not a table of people that I normally play against, so the field that I play with is obviously a lot softer. But having to display my mistakes and like some punts that will come along the way is really what I've been doing on my YouTube channel since I started. So it's really nothing new of being uncomfortable and just displaying it for the public to see. I think it's just a really cool journey to be a part of, and like the experience was like super helpful. Now I just get to watch and hear Landon talk about spots all day, and it's all very valuable information that I just never, it just like brings a different light to how I saw the game.
I will give props to Rampage every single time because it's just, this is how you get better at poker, and people don't get it, and they just want to bash him for being a whale or a fish or whatever.
This
But
is definitely loose, but six-handed, I think it's okay sometimes.
put yourself out there.
Given the fact
Learn.
that everyone seems to be pretty passive right now, we're going to open this and once again see what happens. Pretty wide. 30.
Definitely too wide to open.
Interesting spot here. I think I'm just gonna call. I could see. You know what? Landon is in the big blinds, and I kind of would really like to deny his equity and ISO Rampage and go heads up. So I think I am gonna choose a 3-bet.
Good choice by Marley here to 3-bet this hand for sure.
100.
Especially at this spot right here, it really does not benefit her to flat most of her hands. She wants to get heads up with Rampage. She wants to knock me in and Landon out and Matt on the button. This, if any spot more than any other one, this is a spot where she should just be 3-betting everything. And the fact she has a pretty tight image and a good image is a good place to do it.
Unfortunately, I have to let it go.
Once again, another issue of opening super wide from under the gun. You're going to face a lot of aggression and put in spots where, when we're out of position, this hand just plays horribly post. And easy decision is to fold, but curious if she has another premium or is starting to see that my under the gun range is just way too wide. But regardless, this is just a fold.
Trying to see where we're at here. So there was actually, prior to that hand, there was 3 raise and take it's that weren't shown. And then Ethan raised the next hand and won too. So there was 4 out of 5 hands were raise and take it's.
Happy to raise this one up from under the gun. 30.
Okay, so on the button here, 200 big ones deep versus an under the gun open. His range is extremely tight. Just because there's also no ante. If there's an ante, there's an argument for 3-betting this one. You're calling on the button. But in this kind of environment, it's just the right play to find a fold here, and it feels really tight, but it just is. So you're just gonna make good folds.
Yeah, I think this is the right fold for sure. And like I saw people talking about how that's an above the rim fold or something, but I don't know. It seems like a pretty standard fold to me, but I don't know. I like the suited varieties you can play in flat, and you do the offsuit King Jack. It just doesn't have great playability, and it doesn't play that great multi-way either. So I think, especially against under the gun open raise, I think it's a pretty standard fold.
Easy to defend here. There's another gun, so it can be dominated pretty often.
Was it very boring to play? It was pretty boring, honestly, because there's just so much time in between hands. I'm used to playing PLO. I'm used to playing online. So it's just so much time in between hands.
Check.
I think Johnny should be betting his entire range here.
2 overs in the backdoor Broadway draw. I'm just going to bet here. Don't have to bet big on this poor texture, no flush draws or anything like that. So I expect her to fold out most of her hands for a small size in here. Just go with $25. 25.
Interesting spot here. He's under the gun, and honestly, I would rather just have like a backdoor flush draw or something. My hand's pretty shit. And I am just gonna let it go, even to this smaller size.
It's unfortunate that there's not really anything we can do to make it not as slow. I mean, first of all, like I kind of think no limit 6-handed even is kind of slow as it is, and especially when you have to talk out every decision. It's just going to take forever, and especially when you're used to playing so many more hands.
Good. Can anybody hear me? Okay.
What?
Put your headphone.
All right. We got a hand open here. I'm gonna keep it simple.
So this hand's actually pretty weird to me. I was confused by this hand all around. I would like to play this again, though, just because I feel like going in from the beginning that I could have a lot more information I could share.
Under the gun, Matt hasn't been terribly active. He's shown 3-4 from a 3-bet position. I think that he's still on the relatively straightforward side here, but I still like my hand enough to hold the pot even though I'm out of position. So I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet this one up to around $130.
So I don't get this at all, honestly. Like, I'm pretty sure. I mean, just from a couple different perspectives. First of all, I don't think this is a hand that you want to be 3-betting from big blind versus under the gun, just because you close the action here, and there's not much need to reopen the betting with a hand like this that plays really well post flop. And additionally, yeah, I don't know. This is not how I would construct my big blind 3-betting range against an under the gun open. I think I would want to have strong. I wouldn't be linear like he is in this spot. Basically, I would want to be more polarized and just 3-bet really strong hands, and then maybe some of the weaker hands to a larger sizing. Or like you could really, when you're 200 big blinds deep in this spot against a good player, you can really just not have 3-bets at all. And I think that's a fine strategy. So it was curious to me that he decided to 3-bet this hand in this spot. And yeah, like it's just going to play well to dominate a bunch of hands that is going to dominate that might fold out pre-flop. But yeah, the way that I attack these spots from the big blind is generally against good players, especially, is to just be flatting everything.
130.
Alright, so Johnny hasn't been getting too out of line, but he did just say several hands ago he 3-bet the king queen off, so definitely don't think he's like so tight in these 3-bet spots, even though I'm from up front. We are playing 6 max, so effectively I'm, the low jack here. Also, this hand is sort of right on the borderline, I feel like, between a 4-bet and a call normally, but because he's been a little on the tighter side and because I'm in the first position and my range is a little tighter anyway, I don't think we need to 4-bet this hand. I can't,
I've been on board with everything that Matt said. I can't imagine ever 4-betting this hand in this spot. And I mean, I guess this speaks to something good about Johnny's 3-bet is that in this spot, I would just expect Johnny to have a really good hand the vast majority of the time. Or have some kind of very small suited connectors or something like that that was just trying to balance out the times that he has the really good hands. And so, yeah, I wouldn't ever consider 4-betting ace-queen offsuit in this spot. I think it would just play as a pure call and go from there. You're in position. You get to see what happens after that.
I'm going to continue to recall.
I'm not surprised to see Matt continue with a call here. Hand's pretty interesting. Board texture is very dry. We have backdoor straight, we have backdoor nut flush here. Possibility for 3 streets if improved. If not, possibility for 3 streets of a bluff. He definitely can have some calls that are going to have us crushed. Probably some over pairs like 9s. With block 10s, he could have jacks. He'll probably 4-bet the other hands. 200 big blinds deep, but definitely could play some as a trap. I'm definitely going to bet this board texture and perhaps go 3 streets pending run out. Don't need to go big on this one. We'll go $100.
So this really, this really threw me for a loop on this whole entire hand threw me for a loop. So I think this board, so Johnny's going to have, obviously, aces and kings, but Matt's going to have them sometimes, too. This board is, I think, favorable to Matt more so than Johnny, just because Matt's going to have hands like 8s and 6s, maybe 4s, probably 4s also. And then he will also have hands like 9s, 10s, jacks, and he could have some queens, kings, and aces as well. I don't know. It's just based on how they construct ranges here, and it's hard to say for sure, given that I seem to be awful in how they're both constructing the ranges in this under the gun versus big blind spot, and big blind versus under the gun spot. Now, I think if you are going to be betting, then you're probably going a little bit bigger too. But he decided to bet 100, so yeah, I'm not really sure. And I don't. This is not necessarily the board that you're going to triple off on either, because most of the runouts are not going to want to triple off either. Like some runouts you will, with your aces and kings and stuff like that. But there's a lot of them that you're not going to. So because obviously if it's an 8, a 6, a 5, a 7, a 9, a 10, those are all not great cards to start tripling. So. Can I see Matt 4-betting the spot if his ace queen suited? I don't think so. I think it's the same thing that you want to be flatting. What's up, Lisa? What's up, David? How's it going? Yeah, he looks like Johnny looks like he's over it. What's up, Fortune? How's it going?
With too many of the cards out there, you could maybe have some suited connector, some frequency, but I'm gonna have way more of them basically. But because I do have way more of them, this hand sort of falls very rapidly in my range as far as like hands I want to continue with. Even though he's picked a sort of small size, and I can potentially try to pick on that because I think he may want to use a larger size on this board type.
Yes, exactly.
I think that this holding is just pretty bad to do so with. I don't block anything that connects with the board, and I don't really have any backdoors to speak of being offsuit. So that being the case, even though ace queen high is going to be good here sometimes, I think it's probably better to just fold, especially because I've sort of been fucking around a fair bit here, post-flop, putting in some light raises and getting caught some of the time. So I think that from an image perspective, this is also not the time to step super far out of line. So I'm just going to link it.
Jamie, I agree with you. I'd rather 4-bet ace-queen off and flat ace-queen suited if I was going to 4-bet. But yeah, absolutely pure call. And I agree also that 2/3 seems better from Johnny. And I think this is something that I talked about last week that I think you see a lot. And you'll actually be exemplified in the next episode, I think, is that with this down betting thing that a lot of people are doing, because they understand that this is something you're supposed to do, it seems like people constantly down bet these spots like 8-6-4 when they have a hand like ace-10, but if they have a hand like kings or queens or aces, they bet bigger, which is the sizing I think that you should be choosing. But I 100% agree that Matt should be peeling here, definitely peeling one, and not even just because ace-queen could be the best hand here, but because we have positional advantage and we can take advantage of a bunch of different turn cards that are really going to put him in a tough spot, and we can bluff with our hand even though it doesn't have the best properties to do so, just because of the range advantage that it'll give us on a lot of turns. And we can come up with we end up being able to bluff at a really high frequency with hands that you might not normally bluff with just because of that factor, because of these positions. So yeah, I was really surprised to see Matt fold here for this size. And I would definitely have played this hand a lot differently. I'm going to fast forward through what Matt says about this hand because
So with ace queen against Johnny,
it seemed like in the interview portion of it, he started talking about how he could have bet the flop. And I think he got the action wrong maybe, but it was confusing to me. So I'm just going to fast forward through it. Also, we're running out of time here before we get to the regular live stream. And there's a big hand at the end that we're going to be going really deep into. So let's go right to here. See if there's any hands missed.
Pretty weak hand to defend here versus this position.
Oh, so they didn't even show it.
Flop.
But the hand, I think they didn't show it. The hand before this, Landon opened queens and won the blinds. So it's crazy the way this works in poker sometimes. But like Landon has had so many premiums in this 60 hand stretch, and it's just going to happen sometimes. He just had so many premiums. Not that he got a lot of action with them, but he will in the next video. So you'll see that. All right, so this is an interesting hand. I defend the ace-4 offsuit against Ethan's open. Definitely want to be playing pots with him.
Alright, so I feel like Trevor's range defending the big blind's got to be pretty wide. Obviously, on this board, we're sitting pretty well. We've bluffed a lot against him, and we're just going to use the consistent sizing of like around 1/3 pot, which would be, what, 60? It should be like 20.
So good to know here that Rampage is using the smaller sizing in a spot where he should use the smaller sizing.
This board texture is a board texture I expect him to bet with a high frequency on. We'll have a lot of pairs between the 3 and the queen to bet, as well as having king, queen, queen, jack, queen 10 type hands. And then he'll have king, jack, king 10, all the unpaired bluff hands. With my hand, I have an easy call with ace high and having gutter ball, so I'm going to switch him. This 3 is a card that I could consider leading because I'm going to have way more 3s than he will, defending from the big blind versus his open. I'm more likely to lead the middle card pairing if it's a higher card, like an 8 or a 9 or a 10, somewhere like that.
So I'm going to point out there that my thinking actually is wrong in the in-game, I think, here. I think I should actually be leading this 3 for a bunch of reasons. First of all, I am going to have more 3s, especially when I have an ace in my hand here. Although I guess it's not really as relevant because ace 3 suited. He can't have ace 3 suited. Like I can't have ace 3 of diamonds. But having the ace of diamonds in my hand allows me to bluff some river diamonds as well if I do get called on turn. So it does give me that additional bonus. So I do think I probably should be leading this card. But it's debatable. Just because the one reason I don't tend to lead these spots is that I'm going to have the best hand a decent amount of time. I'm not going to get barreled off my hand on the turn very often because it's going to go check the vast majority of the time. And I can just have the best hand at showdown a lot too. So if I have a hand like 4 or 5, I think I'm generally more likely to lead turn here in this spot just because it's a spot where I have 5 high instead of ace high. But yeah, so those are my general thoughts on that. And when it's initially I was saying I would lead, say a board like Queen 10x, turn 10. I would lead those type of boards more often than these smaller ones. But I don't think that's necessarily correct because more people are betting their 10x hands on flop in these spots than they used to. So I don't think that's necessarily correct.
I still could lead this card, and having the ace of diamonds in my hand would make it good to do so. But I'm going to check here and then decide. I think he's going to check back here quite a bit. We'll get to realize our equity. I have the best hand a decent amount. I just don't expect him to barrel this card too often. So I think we'll just check through and then see what happens in the room.
Sure.
I think after looking at this right now, the 3 seems like a pretty terrible card for us. Sure, I think, I think a lot of his calling ranges would be like middle pair sometimes, like a 3 outsolding, or some hand that doesn't love this 3 either. I mean, 4-5 would probably continue, but I think right now with Queen Jack, we have a hand that can get 2 streets of value. Also, what's going on in my head is how in the last hand I played against Trevor with the 10 high, I'm going to take the exact same line where I had nothing and check back turn, and here I have top pair and I can check back turn and play a little bit more deceptively, but overall I think with this 3 of diamonds here, it's a mix of deception, maybe a little bit of pot control as well, but maybe we can get him to bluff on the river, but we're going to go and check this.
So I think his thoughts there were mostly pretty good, so that's good.
Now I'm in this situation where I have to decide whether I want to turn my hand into a bluff or if I want to check and just show down, hopefully beat some of his unpaired hands. The good thing about turning my hand into a bluff is I can get some folds from hands like maybe 4s, 5s, and 6s. And I'd rather have some of the other floats that I'd have, like some like 10-9s and Jack 10s that have backdoor flush draws as my bluffs, and then just have this as a showdown hand. and expect to win if he checks back with a pretty good frequency. He might have some better ace highs occasionally, which I could fold out if I bluff, but I don't think I need to bluff this combination.
So it's important to remember that when I call this flop, it's Queen 3-2 rainbow flop, but remember that he only bet 20 into 65. So I'm going to have a lot of hands here on the river that I get to the river with. And those hands are going to have to bluff. Obviously, if I have hands like Jack 9 suited, Jack 10 suited, King Jack suited, hands like that, King Jack might have enough showdown to check as well. But those hands like that have backdoor flush draws, backdoor straight draws, I can occasionally be check raising some of them on the flop, but some of them are also going to be check calls. So those are going to make for my bluffs. And the sizing that I choose with them will likely be pretty large. I don't know. You can kind of go two different ways, where you can either just go very small and bet a lot of hands for value and in an attempt just to bet a lot of hands for value and also get a lot of the air just to fold, or you go very large and say that you're just kind of betting really strong Queen X and 3X hands, and then you're trying to fold out some of those pairs that might want a hero call. A couple questions here. David said the down bet strat works best in tournaments form, stop for the most part in cash. I think it just depends on your opponent and board texture in a lot of situations. Chin, they did the Solve for Why vlogcast live at this time, so that's why Chin couldn't make it. Steven said Ethan's a great guy, but obvious during the episodes I've seen that you were taking advantage of inexperience. That's what you got to do. It's poker, right? And Diamond River, would you turn the ace high into a bluff having the blocker? It's an interesting thought. I'm not sure whether I would. If I did, it would most likely be in the form of check raising with it. I guess I might occasionally go with an overbet on it. I have to decide on which diamond it was probably. And yeah, I don't know. I think there's merit to both ways, either overbetting with it or going for the check raise with it. I think it has enough showdown that you can just check it and then and you can decide to turn it into a bluff based on the sizing that your opponent chooses.
Okay. All right. Well, now that he's checked all three times, we're pretty confident we have the best hand. Now it's just what kind of sizing to put out for value, and I want to go a little bit bigger. I mean, they've all seen me overbet pot with 8 high, multi-way, and now expecting our hand to be good here all the time. We're just trying to target, I don't even know what hands we can get a hero call from. Maybe 5s, 6s, 8s, maybe, but I feel like if we can get big, we can either get a snap call or a hero call. So with 100 in the middle, we'll go to 125.
One and a quarter.
So facing bet check bet line, the hands that I can call with on river, well, I can have some really strong hands that I'm deciding to go with check raise with, and then I have some pairs that I can call.
So the really strong hands that I would check raise with mostly are going to be pocket 7s probably, just because I think once we get to the river in this spot, it's going to be most of his hands are going to be either air hands or hands that pot controlled turn and now are going to bet river, so we can go for the check raise with those, and then occasionally mix in obviously a check raise bluff with maybe some hands like 7x, like a 7-8 suited, something like that called flop, although that might be too wide to call flop. So I'm not sure which hands I would turn into a bluff on the river. Maybe some, I don't know, I have to think about that a little bit more, but yeah, so there's not going to be too many check raise spots here for value that I have. But my hands, I'm going to tell you right now what my hands that I call with are, I guess.
Some flop floats that might contain a 7, like A7, that are easy check calls. I have a hand that's not great in this situation. Now it just depends on what we think he's going to check bet with for value. He could definitely have some of the weaker queens here, like Queen 10, Queen 9 suited. Just kind of an interesting spot to be in here. And I think I'm going to fold.
So it's very tough to decide what to call with on this river. Most of the time, like most of my Queen X hands, I'm just going to block value bet for river. So then the hands that I'm going to call with have to be hands like Ace-7 and then maybe some pairs. But again, we're facing an overbet, so we don't have to go too crazy with the hands that we call with. And then I just ultimately decided in this spot that I didn't think he was bluffing, which is why like the last like 5 seconds there, I'm not saying anything. I'm just kind of looking over at him and deciding what to do. And that's me making my read-based play on where I should draw the line on what I call with. And in that spot, honestly, like once I get kind of that read, it's like if I can't beat a hand like Queen 9 or Queen 10, I'm probably just folding. All right, so here's the last hand coming up here. This is a big one, so we're going to get into this one and then hang out with me if you can. Jody will be in a little bit to do the live stream, episode 64, after this big hand. So we're going to go a lot into this one. This one is, I've been looking forward to talking about this one. What's up, Michael Swan? How's it going? High five.
All right, so definitely going to open this one, and yeah, I don't know what to say about it.
With my hand here, I'm going to be playing a 3-bet or fold strategy for the most part. So I'm just going to go ahead and 3-bet, take initiative, knock out Landon in the big blind, and hopefully get a heads up if Marle decides to call. I'm going to be continuing to use larger sizings, given that we're deeper, like I have from the beginning. So I'm going to go to 150.
150?
So you see the huge value here. Look at the equities here. The huge value in 3-betting a hand here rather than flatting. Even though we're facing under the gun raise, just the huge value of 3-betting. We're going to get called by a hand that's slightly better than ours, but we're knocking out a hand that has 27% equity from a good player out of the pot. It's just such a huge value to do so.
Alright, so I don't really see much else we can do here but call. My hand's much too strong to fold, and 4-bet folding our equity away would be pretty disastrous with a hand strength like this. We're in position. Yes, we did open. I mean, he's probably going to play pure 3-bet strategy with 1-1 anyways, so I feel pretty happy about the situation. I'm just going to take a flop in position and play a very good hand.
So I think pre-flop is standard from everybody.
Pretty good flop for my hand and range. I'm going to be attacking this spot pretty aggressively and betting most of my hands in these positions. So I'm going to just start betting and go from there.
So when I 3-bet this spot, I'm going to have a lot of hands, honestly. Mostly because I want to get involved. If I'm playing... I really just want to get involved. So my 3-bet range is going to be wider than it normally would. So Michael said, would you 3-bet if it's offsuit? Probably, yeah. If I was going to play the hand, for sure. If I was going to... I wouldn't flat, is what I'm saying. I would only be 3-betting. Would be 3-betting king, queen offsuit. Even though that's probably pretty light in these positions, I still would just be attacking with it. And I'm going to have a lot of hands here that I'm playing. Hands like 10-9 suited for sure, king 10 suited as well, and then all the ace kings. So when this board comes out, my initial thought is that I'm going to be barreling very aggressively on this board across multiple streets with my entire range. So obviously it's a good board if I have aces, kings, ace queen, my king queen like I have, jacks, queens. I have a lot of really good hands here. And it's hard for her to hit this board really hard. She can have queen jack suited, she can have the ace queens, king queens, and she could have maybe jacks if she flatted that pre-flop, maybe queens if she flatted pre-flop. Obviously, we block that with my hand. And I'm not sure if she opens deuces and calls a 3-bet under the gun or not.
130?
Alright, easy continue here. Same reason this is pre-flop. Hand's too good to fold. too good to raise. He's still got a big range advantage, and we're just going to continue through a call.
So I like the what size that I made 130 here. I think it's good for all of my hands that I'm going to be betting, and I'm going to be probably setting up for a larger turn bet depending on the turn card. Is there any situation that Marley could 4-bet preflop in position with ace-jack suited? Generally, no. You almost always want to be flatting a hand like ace-jack suited. There's very few circumstances where 4-betting a hand like ace-jack suited is going to be the correct play. The reason being that your hand plays so much better as a flat. It's basically you do not want to put yourself in a situation where you're getting jammed off of your hand, most likely because they have better hands, basically. So yeah, hands like the way that you want to construct your 4-bet range is, generally speaking, you're going to have hands that you go with that are really good, or hands that you feel comfortable 4-bet folding with. Like a hand like ace-10 offsuit might play better in that situation because it has less playability. It does have a blocker, things like that. But it also depends on what positions everyone's in as well. Agree with what Jamie said.
When she calls flop, she can have me beat occasionally with a hand like ace queen. I think she would flat jacks in these positions pre-flop. Deuces, not sure if she'd open and flat 3-bet, but possibly. Could definitely have some queen jack as well. Obviously, we block that with king queen. Turn flush draw also in the spot, so obviously pick up added equity. And now I'm just deciding whether I want to, if it's too thin to continue betting for 3 streets, or if I think it's not too thin, and I think I'll have enough barrels here, like with my ace king combos, and then some turn flush draws that will want to continue bluffing. So I think I should continue betting, and I'm going to choose kind of a medium sizing.
So the turn is the most interesting part of this hand because what I do on the turn dictates how the rest of the hand's going to play out. So if I bet turn, it's almost always because I think that I can get 3 streets of value. And so I'm betting turn to set up a river shove, essentially. Now, the decision point is, do I have enough bluffs in these positions to continue betting turn and river? And the conclusion I came to is yes, because I think that I'm going to be 3-betting this spot with all of my ace-x suited, so all of my ace-x of hearts, which will definitely be betting that sizing on the flop. So I will be continuing bluffing those. I will also continue bluffing all of my king-10 suiteds, all of my 9-10 suiteds, and then some of my ace-kings as well. A lot of my ace-kings, honestly. I'm probably just going to be attacking this spot pretty aggressively. So that means that I'm going to want to have a lot of value as well. So king-queen suited is going to fall into that as well. So yeah, so that's the reason I chose to bet again. I think I could actually go even a little bit bigger than I went.
375?
375 I think is good, actually. We're just trying to set up a pot-sized shove on the river.
I feel like it puts our exact hand kind of in a really tough spot. I think I do need to call one more and reevaluate. I mean, I'm probably going to have to fall river unless I improve, but I am going to call one more and then see what happens.
Cool.
Pretty pure run out.
So now the question becomes, is this too thin to go for 3 streets? And I don't think it is. I think I'm going to have a lot of bluffs on this run out. Good run out for my hand and range. Occasionally I'm going to run into ace-queen. Occasionally I'll run into queen-jack, and occasionally run into jacks. But I think I can get called by some queen-10 suiteds, queen-9 suiteds maybe. Obviously I block those. And then if she wants to hero a hand like king-jack or jack-10, I want to give her the chance to do so. Yeah, so I think we're just going to go for all of it.
So this jam relies on the fact that I have a super aggressive image. I'm going to have a lot of bluffs on this run out. And do I think that she will get curious enough to call with a hand like ace-jack, king-jack, jack-10, queen-10, queen-9, etc.? Well, if you guys remember, earlier in an earlier episode, the episode before this actually, she called 3 streets down with ace-5 on king-king-10 XX run out. So, she's certainly not afraid to call down 3 streets. Now, obviously, I'm going to have some really good hands here. I'm going to have hands like aces. I'm going to have hands like kings. I'm going to have like ace queen, some queens, some jacks. But her hand actually, ace jack, without a king in it, not blocking king 10, not blocking 10-9, blocking aces, blocking jacks, makes for a pretty good bluff catcher here, especially when on this run out when she gets here, which made it really curious to me that she just snap folded this spot, as you'll see in a second.
Just want to check and see how much we have here. Colin?
Call it.
Yeah, I mean, just have better hands. Can't call. Just not getting the right price. Default.
Like she really snap folded, and I'm confused as to like what better hands does she have. I guess she has, like we said, the queen 10s, maybe the queen 9 suited, ace queen, king queen. I think it's probably about the same. No, I don't know. I think ace jack might be a better call than king queen. But she doesn't really have too many better hands. I guess she could have slow played aces. That could be the case. But yeah, I would be interested to see what she would think my bluffing range would be in this spot. And if it's just not wide enough. So yeah, I would just be curious. She didn't really think that went through too long. I need to get her on and hear her thought process. Jody will be here shortly, guys. Okay, let's see. I think we're wrapping up here, right? I think that's the last hand.
Yeah. Ooh, thanks, bro.
What'd you have?
King queen of hearts.
So she said when she said that, I think she said fuck or something. I thought she was saying like she folded a better hand or something, like she folded ace queen or something. But then she told me what she had. So I guess maybe she was upset with her turn call, but I think her turn call is pretty standard too. I'm surprised though that once she called turn that she folded river in that spot. Obviously made a good fold in retrospect, but yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of bluffs there. So, but all right, well, so we did this watch through. Now we're gonna do the live stream. So this is episode 64 of the live stream. Jody will be in a moment. She is currently bathing one of the children. And yeah, so on the live stream here, we just hang out, we chat. Let me see what you guys are talking about in here. Dalton said, why is it so cold outside? I'm ready for spring. That's right. Yeah, seriously, it's freezing. Lisa said, we're going to find out what Jody's thinking very soon. True. Yeah, Jamie, unblocks all the backdoor flush draws with their exact combo. What's up, Ian? He said, you should sell Marley's shirt. I'm tilted just looking at it. Ace Jack better call than Queen 10 as Queen 10 blocks the King 10. Yeah, I think so too. I think Ace Jack is a better combo to call with than those hands. Berkey said he was going to earmark this one for an on-second thought because I'm really curious if it's going to depend a lot on what he puts into the solver as my 3-bet range and as my bet range. And I think given the circumstances, my ranges are probably a lot wider than they actually are. Then he'll actually put into the solver, just because of the kind of the boredom factor, trying to make things happen factor. So I'll be interested to see what he comes up with from the solver, whether my jam was too thin, whether her hand should be a call, and from there it'll be an interesting one. All right, Jody will be back in a second. She's getting a chair, I think. If you guys have any questions for us, put them in the chat. I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, if you guys enjoy our content, if you check out our podcast, that's the most important thing to us. We've done 87 episodes. It's called the Raising the Nuts podcast. It's just a podcast about life. We talk about all kinds of shit that happens. This last podcast, I was very fired up. I was talking about poker a lot. I was talking about getting after it in the gym. We talked about the book Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And we play this game called Jody Thinks, which we also play on the live stream shortly. And we had some really funny ones this week. Ridiculous ones. Jody, she insinuated that maybe I might not last that long in the bedroom, and also that I might be limp. So it's just how Jody Thinks goes. It's pretty funny. But yeah, if you can listen to that podcast, comes out every Wednesday at 5 a.m. Additionally, if you guys like Raising the Nuts in general, you like the merchandise, you can go to pokerrags.us. There's also a bunch of other awesome poker shirts on there. Check that out. Buy some shirts there. Mike Trout wants to know if I've ever met or played with Lyman. No, never met or played with him at all. I actually didn't even really... I feel like I knew him from 2+2 a little bit, but I wasn't really familiar with him until I heard him on the Sessions podcast. Dalton says the last podcast is fire. Y'all need to check it out. That's right. Check it out. Daniel said, take lots of notes during the RTN podcast. Jamie said, well played. Really enjoyed the stream and your breakdown of the hands. Thanks, man, from Ireland. We'll be sure to check out the podcast. Thank you very much, Jamie. Thanks for joining me. Your input was very valuable also. Appreciate your comments and your thoughts on some of the hands, too. So thank you for stopping by, man. Silent Sound Guy in the house. Been listening but driving. Home now. What's up, everybody? Silent Sound Guy's in the house. How's it sound, Silent Sound Guy? How's it? Let me know. Jody, I don't know. I'm holding the show down for Jody right now. We need her to come in and do Jody Thinks. I can do Trevor Thinks right now. If you guys want to say anything in the chat that you want me to talk about, just let me know. On the podcast, I talked about how I was a little... Jody asked me the question of how do I... Oh, no, we didn't do it? Let's do this. While we're here, let's go through some YouTube comments. You guys want to do that? Let's do that. We did this last week. Let's go through the YouTube comments, see what we got. I like Ethan even more for admitting he's not the best player here and giving it a go and coming on the show. It's actually more difficult than it appears to be on the show for a newer player. That's very true. Definitely shout out to Kelly for that comment, because shout out to Ethan. Definitely the man. If I drank every time someone said interesting spot here, I'd be dead. That's probably true. Thanks, Sound Guy. Sound great. Yeah, Jamie, if you want to get some poker eggs gear, they do ship to Ireland. All right, what else we got here? Watching Rampage should give hope to everyone pursuing poker in the sense that anyone can win. That's pretty true. All right, Curtis with the big... notice the thumbs up here from me, because you got to thumbs up any comment that says good things about you and thumbs down any bad one. Curtis is my friend. Not my friend, but he's been a vlog watcher. I've chatted with him a little bit on Instagram over the years. He said, Ethan looks so uncomfortable here, needs a drink. Trevor's a gangster. Great 4-bet with ace-3, recognizing JV, maybe squeezing for light from the small blind ones. Ethan flats. Let's see. Trevor's a beast. You got to like that one, right? Yep. Poker Out Loud drinking game. Every time someone says one of the following, interesting spot, tough spot, go from here, see what happens. Definitely true. Surely 5-bet jamming, king-queen offers an EP 4-bet is a punt. It is what it is. You can tell how nervous they were about looking bad on film since they had to explain their thought process well. The game had no rake and everyone seemed to play pretty nitty pre-flop considering that fact, then very straightforward post. Very little floats when I think in a normal poker room. Love the concept here and explain the game itself was pretty boring. That's fair thoughts. Johnnie Vibes. Trevor's opening wide from under the gun. Johnnie Vibes, same hand. Trevor's tight when opening from under the gun. Pretty funny. Mike Trout, you're giving the common Jody Thinks ones. I can't do those ones. Dalton said, I love the vlogger's version of talking out loud, but I personally think 8-handed would be better. A lot less button raise and take it. 8-handed is just too brutal, man. It's just... It honestly would be a lot more fun to play 3-handed or 4-handed on 2 tables and just show the 2 tables and have us go back and forth, because you get so many more spots. You get so many more interesting decision points to talk about. It's obviously less beneficial to people who are playing live poker, but honestly, like, that's the thing. Like, this lineup, it doesn't... You can learn how to think about poker by listening to people talk and listening about how people construct ranges and things like that. But this is not your typical lineup that you're going to see in a standard 1-2 or 1-3 game or 2-5 game. So the way that you attack different situations is going to be completely different. Against your standard, if you're playing 9-handed poker and someone opens under the gun and I have king-queen suited in the small blind and it folds to me, I'm not always going to be playing a 3-bet or fold strategy. Mostly I'm going to be playing a calling strategy probably, just because ranges become so much tighter. Considering you've never a recommendation for Poker Study Courses site because you say you don't study, your knowledge analysis is pretty awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Let's see what else we got here. Jody's here now. Weird all in the last hand with king, queen of hearts. Your opponent rarely has a drawing hand blocking king 10, king 9, hearts draw. No one's going to call a second pair with this board texture. Seems like looking for 2 pair riverboat to call down spewy fishy. That's a good one.
What?
I think he called me spewy fishy. Yeah, I mean, I gave my thoughts on that already. What's up? Welcome to Livestream. We're reading the comments right now. Uh-oh, we just turned that off. This is going up now. That's because this is not a good placement for this. All right, we got to move this over here.
Turn on now.
All right, here we go. Sorry, it happened again. The lights went out again. All right, there she is. Slide on over next to me.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, so Jeremiah said, surprised Marley didn't consider calling more on the river with ace-jack suited. Pretty nice bluff catcher. Agree with that. We talked about that already.
I'm leaving the glasses on. I don't care about the reflection.
Didn't Trevor used to fake date Marley? It must be fake uncomfortable playing with her here.
Fake date?
I assume that he's talking about
Andrew?
Andrew, yes.
Are you really reading the comments again?
Okay, we're gonna. Who
cares?
All right, nobody cares about the comments. Jody said she's here now. Welcome to the live stream, Jody. Welcome.
Thanks.
How you feeling? You got a big ring on your eye.
I don't care. They're staying.
Okay.
I feel
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
exhausted.
Jody's exhausted. I am also exhausted, but we're here now.
Yes. Oh my God. Does she ever stop jumping and moving? And
Would you like to clarify who you're talking about?
Cameron.
Oh, one of our kids doesn't stop job. Would I ever do an online meetup game? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
What do you do in an online meetup game exactly?
Everybody has their Zooms up, and then you play poker.
Oh, okay.
All right, you're gonna have to talk for a little bit, Jody.
I feel like
What? You feel very short?
yes.
Because my seat is tall.
Significantly, I need to sit on phone books.
I don't know who Charlie is. Dalton said the glasses make you look good.
Charlie D'Amelio?
Is that who is Charlie? What's up, Vegas Aviation, by the way? If you guys... Yeah, Charlie D'Amelio. There you go.
Thanks. I don't really know what she looks like, but...
What's up, Craig Talk? Welcome back again.
I gotta take...
All right.
Oh, my God. I'm a fucking mess tonight.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Dalton said I'm fine, too. All right, guys, so we're going to get started with Jody Thinks. So if you guys can put in some words, phrases, or questions for Jody, and then she will give you her thoughts on them. I've just talked for the last hour and a half. I need to get some water. Say hello to my kids for a second. Fortune.
No, you can't leave me in here. I can't look at the...
You can look at them, and you just respond to them as they come through.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay, then you got to just talk for a little bit.
Here.
Talk about your day.
Here you go.
Are you serious? I need to fill up my water. I need a break for a second. I got to pee.
No, there's no breaks.
This is...
No, you can't...
You can run the show, man. You know that, right?
I don't know where they started.
It's all right. You're right here. We didn't start anywhere.
Yeah, no, they're already words.
No, that was for me.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
What do y'all use? Tic Tac?
It's not TikTok. It's Tic Tac, he said.
What is Tic Tac?
All right, ask him what Tic Tac is. All right, Mike Trout, spam 5 or 6 different words here for Jody to talk about real quick while I run to the bathroom.
What were the words that he said?
They were the troll words. Onomatopoeia and what was the other one? Oh, transubstantiation.
Oh, yeah. I do need a phone book. I'm too, this is a dining room chair. Here's what we need to do. We got... Son of a bitch, why does it do that? Every time you touch the button on his desk. There we go. He's got a standing desk, and whenever you press the button on his desk, it turns the light off. And I don't understand why, because they're not the same button. But anyway... Why are you calling it Tic Tac? It's not Tic Tac. It's TikTok. Chatterbait. Agoraphobia. That's like the fear of going out in public, right? I don't have that fear. I was out in public a lot today. I went to 2 different doctor's appointments because apparently I'm old. And I went to the eye doctor today. And that is some... intimidating shit. I never realized how anxiety inducing it is. But it is seriously intimidating. What do you say? Kratok? Is that how you say that?
That's how I said it. I don't know if it was correct.
That is not a question for Trevor. That is a question for me. Because I am the one that makes all the shirts.
Yeah.
And I am part owner, not Trevor.
It's true. So there you go. So
are
let's
there
answer the question.
maternity shirts? I don't think so, but I will look. I'll do it right here.
All right, there you go. Or a onesie for the baby, he said also.
Onesies, yes, absolutely there are onesies. There's not an aspiring whale onesie yet, but yes, there are. Oh, no true maternity here. Okay. Yeah, bigger size for sure. But onesies, absolutely. Yes, I agree, Mike Trout. You may want to rethink it if you would like to live to meet your child. Yes. Okay. Anyway, where were we? I call Tic Tac. I'm a iFunny user. What does that mean? Okay. No, we don't use TikTok, and we don't even let the kids use it. So, there you go.
All right. So the final thought was no maternity gear, but a bigger size to sleep in. But that might be insulting to the pregnant woman.
To get her an aspiring... I can't do anything with this hair. To get her an aspiring whale shirt when she's pregnant.
Jesus.
Yes, that's what he was saying.
I got it.
Yes.
But there are onesies. What shirts come in the onesies?
A lot. I can't rattle off every single one. A lot. Just search onesie, I think. Right, Mike Trout? It's onesie.
He said, I've never claimed to be the smartest person in the world. It's great. Fortune said you have a great circle light on your glasses.
Yeah, it's going to stay like that. It's the stupid ring light, and these are blue light glasses, and I'd like to sleep tonight, so they're staying on. Plus, the eye doctor tonight told me that it can help with eye strain since I'm looking at a screen a lot, and I know you wear those all the time.
Yeah, I wear these every day to work in.
Because I have...
they constantly... Look how dirty they are. They constantly get
you're a
so
mess.
dirty.
Because I... my left eye got worse again, and I'm super blind, and so I was asking him about it, and he said that the blue light glasses can't hurt for sure, since my eyes are getting worse, but it could just be partially an age thing. Also, I've worn glasses since I was in 2nd grade, and that was like, what? Oh my God, how many years ago was that, Trevor?
2nd grade?
It was like 32 years ago?
No, 2nd grade was not 32 years ago.
Oh, yeah, no,
Sorry,
I wasn't 5.
I couldn't hear what you said.
I wasn't talking to you.
All right.
Wait, hold on. That was 2nd grade. It was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
What did I say? I said 32 years ago, and you made it seem like...
Well, 32 would insinuate that you're going to be 40, which is not...
Nope, I'm not. But still, I've worn glasses for 30 years. That's crazy.
All right, do we have some more Jody Thinks words that we can put in here? I feel like this last Jody Thinks on the podcast was one of my favorite ones so far. The omelette du formaggio is just the best.
Oh my God.
Is the best.
And then, so for reference here, if you listen to the podcast and you heard me say that something with cheese, and then Trevor said fromage means 3, and then the day the podcast came out, he was texting me about it, and I said, I told you that it meant cheese. And he said, you did? I didn't know that. And so he had to go back and listen, and you clearly hear me say it's something with cheese. Jesus.
You guys have to listen to the podcast to hear that one, because what it ended up turning into is hilarious. Basically, it's an omelet threesome. Let's just go with that.
It's not an omelet threesome. We also learned that someone has problems with being limp.
I talked about that already. Bye, Lisa.
Quick. Bye, Lisa.
Kratok said, my lady has a great sense of humor, thankfully. Would absolutely love to get a true maternity shirt with the aspiring whale on it, though. It's such a good print.
Nice. Hey, you're more than welcome to buy anything that you would like. I encourage purchasing.
Yeah, but it's not a true maternity shirt, though, right?
No, it's not. It's not a maternity shirt. But they're soft, and they stretch. So, I mean, you don't have to wear a maternity shirt when you're pregnant. I wore regular shirts. You just wear bigger ones or like stretchy ones or whatever. So.
Do you wear contacts? If so, what are your lens scripts? Do you ever consider LASIK?
I do wear contacts. I have a negative 7.5 in both eyes. They're horrible. And when you go to the eye doctor, like if anybody's familiar with going to the eye doctor and you wear contact lenses, they do all these tests and then they want to take your contacts out and do more tests. So they did that to me. And then they say, okay, go wait in the waiting room now. And then I'm like, fucking awesome. Great. And actually, the doctor came out today, and he had a white shirt on and blue pants, and he has white hair, and he was standing against a wall that was, like, cream-colored, and I was far away, and I heard him say my name, and I, like, looked up, and I was like, oh, shit, I think he's standing there against the wall, but I'm not sure. I really have no idea. And so I got up and walked in that direction, and I said, I'm glad I found you, because you kind of blended into the wall there, because I can't friggin' see. So I need to. That's why I said I need to remember to take my glasses with me because they make me sit there with no contacts in my eyes. And like I'm sitting in the waiting room with my phone up to my face like this trying to talk to you. And people probably looking at me like I'm a freaking idiot. All right. Anyway.
What is he saying here? Beer and lubricants are all the same category? Things I didn't know? Is that beer? Or drinks? Well, I remember I made the joke about... there
was something about... Oh, yeah, because we were talking about... Oh, yeah, you said beer, bourbon, and lubricants.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Do we watch UFC? No. I never got into it. I don't know. Not a big thing for me.
Mm-mm.
Things that died because of the internet. That was an Anthony question. Encyclopedias, Walkman, Discman, Blockbuster videos.
Yeah.
Limp. Jody says, I've got nothing. Exactly. That's what she said. Oh, man. So we actually have the highlight clip to that. Neuro was nice enough to do that for us. We should put that out on social media tonight, actually. Because it's just hilarious.
Sure. I would love nothing more than to add that to my list of things to do today.
Perfect. All right, great. Thank you for doing that. Some guy said that's bad when you can't see a person.
It is bad. You know, okay.
We did skip your joke, Dalton. I'll go back to it in a second.
I have been with Trevor now for, 14 years?
Yep.
14 years we've been together. Pretty much lived together for 14 years. I cannot tell you how many times, still to this day, Trevor says, look at this in the morning. And I'm like, I cannot fucking see that because I don't have my contacts in and I don't have glasses on. 14 years of this. Look at this, Jody. Look at it. No, I can't see it. So he goes, okay, look. And I'm like, I still can't see that. It's terrible.
All right, here's Dalton's joke that we skipped over. Why couldn't the Pepper practice archery?
I don't know why.
Because it didn't have an arrow. What's up, Rick? Greetings to you. He's playing live now at one of your last vlogs. Nice. Maradona approved. That is definitely Maradona approved. Boss wants to know where you're originally from. You sound like you're from New York.
I am originally from New Jersey, where I still am residing currently.
He did fix the spelling on your name.
I appreciate that very much. Yes, I'm from South Jersey. Born and raised. I still live here. New Jersey. Not New York. I don't sound like New York. They say like coffee and chocolate. And I don't talk like that.
How do you say coffee and chocolate?
Coffee and chocolate.
We say a lot of things weird, though.
Yeah, for sure. Like, New Jersey people say, I don't say it anymore because it was one of the most awful things ever. So I trained myself to stop saying it. But people in New Jersey say wooder, not water. So, like, I'd like a glass of water. So I've trained myself to not say that anymore. So now I say water. Yeah.
We're like about an hour and 45 minutes from New York City. We're 15 minutes outside of Philadelphia.
Yes. When I talk, Trevor and I were talking about this recently. Like on the podcast, I really try to not. I try to like make sure I'm enunciating everything and like slow my talking down so that the Jersey doesn't come out so hard. But when I start talking really fast and get like really fired up, then it really comes out.
So Dalton, the accent that you're thinking of is probably more like the New York or North Jersey accent. So North Jersey, and South Jersey are just so different because North Jersey, everything is very New York. South Jersey, everything is very Philly.
Yeah.
So it's like they're totally different places.
We have what's called the Delco accent. So if you Google the Delco, Delco accent, you'll hear us. And that's, yeah. We don't have it as bad because, again, like I try not to, but it is freaking terrible.
Freaking terrible, hon.
Hold on. This is the most common thing. And Daniel, I don't even know why you're asking me because you also live in New Jersey. Nobody says New Jersey. Who the hell says that? No one.
Says what?
I have never, no, I'm not saying it again.
Say it again.
I have never met a person from New Jersey who says that. Never. Never. Who the fuck says that? Have you ever heard anybody say that?
No.
And then everybody, oh, you're from New Jersey. Is that where you're from? No, I'm not. I'm from New Jersey.
It's because they're fired up, guys. I can see the red on the audio flying.
Jesus.
What's up, Mark? Happy you're here. The time change. You finally made it here on the time change.
Hi, Mark. What time is it for you right now?
Yeah, what time is it, Mark? Good morning to you.
Because now I'm confused by your time.
What's up, Mike Fritz? How's it going, man? Good to see you as well. He said above Toms River is basically South New York. What's up? It's true. Yeah, Delco is short for Delaware County.
Yes, it is only in the movies.
What is only in the movies?
The way they say New Jersey.
How do they say it?
Like that. I'm not saying it again. Now it's silent.
It's silent. All right, what else do you want to talk about right now?
Oh, so I started to say earlier that the eye doctor was giving me so much anxiety today.
Why?
So they gave me like this clicker thing, like I was on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And they were testing my peripheral vision.
Yeah, you put your eye into the machine like this.
Right, and it's just one eye at a time,
Uh-huh.
and you have to click when you see the white dot.
Mhm.
And it starts in the center, and then it starts blinking all over the screen. But you keep looking in the center. Well, I got the goddamn mask on. It's fogging up the fucking screen.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's blocking the white dot, because it's very tiny. And I keep telling her, like, I can't see. The fucking screen is fogged up again.
Jody's really fired up today, guys. We got a lot of F words
And
dropping
she's
in.
like, okay, I will pause and I will clean the screen. So then she cleans it. Now there's alcohol over the screen. I'm like, I cannot fucking see what's going on. I have no idea. You're going to think that I have like something wrong with my peripheral vision. This is fucking terrible. And it just kept going and going and going. I'm like, oh my God, is this going to end? And then I had to do the left side. So I had to do it all over again. Then she had to take me to another fucking room. And I had to, what was the next test? I had another clicker, and there was a dot in the center, and whenever it would start to like wiggle, I had to hit the clicker. I'm like, can we do anything that's just not anxiety inducing, where I feel like I'm going to fail a test? That's it. That's all I got.
You need to eat some weed gummies tonight, I think. Daniel said, I grew up in New York, lives in Jersey for only 4 years.
It is not Jersey.
Great Talk said, I love South Park right now. They're to blame for the Jersey, I think. Dalton said, get her going, boys. It's really Jody Thinks if she's fierce. So 8:02 a.m. Mark is also good, needs to get the fan to work and school.
Okay.
Have a nice day, Mark.
Now you're an hour. I mean, not an hour, but
13 hours. Yeah. So
all right.
I've been starting at 6:30 your time then, Mark.
Got it.
Is hot yoga way more effective if you take hallucinogenics beforehand, like eating a bag of shrooms before watching Cirque du Soleil, like in I Love You Man?
I don't have an answer for that. I have never taken hallucinogenics before in my life, so and I
think we term them psychedelics now. That's
okay.
the way we term them.
Psychedelics. I've never taken them, so I don't have an answer for this.
You guys got any more things for
weird.
us to talk about tonight, or should we just wrap this up again?
The fucking scene? Did I say that?
Well, yeah, maybe.
The scene?
No, you just said. You've said falking a lot.
Fucking? I don't say fucking. It's ridiculous.
He said the jersey's coming out. Daniel says, can we do a fundraiser in the live stream for donations for every curse word Jody drops? Extra donations for every F-bomb.
I say the F word a lot. I have mostly reserved myself on the podcast and the live stream because I'm, I think my family watches and listens, but I'm fucking over that. If you're watching and your family, it's a word. I don't care.
She says it a lot.
I do.
What speed reading course did I take, and did it or does improve comprehension also? I didn't take any speed reading course. I grew up reading constantly. When I was a kid, I just read all day long. So all I did was read and then play video games. I would actually play video games and read at the same time. So I just was always a very quick reader. And yeah, I don't know. And especially if I find a book that I like, I'll just bang it out in a day or two. Thank you very much, Mike Trout, for the $10.69 donation for the last few F-bombs. If you want Jody to say more F-bombs, feel free to donate to the Super Chat, and she will happily grace you with a bunch of F-bombs.
All you have to do is just ask me questions that get me,
get you riled
worked up. Like, for instance, why when I sit in front of this camera and, I have my resting bitch face, right? Like this. Okay. Why is my mouth crooked? Why it, slopes down and it's... Why? Does my mouth look like that in person? Do I have a fucking crooked mouth?
No.
What the shit? Do you see that?
Not really. Don't say that's what I'm getting at. It sounds more like falking than how us Michiganders say it.
I don't say falking for sure. If I say falking and then I say fucking, there's a difference there.
Daniel said the weekly live stream always feels like being part of the Savage fam. Mike Schultz said, I hope you're not having a stroke. Dalton is trying to rile you up by saying the part is not in the middle of your hair.
I don't give a flying fuck. I'm not in my 20s. And normally it is in the center. I actually don't even know why it's off to the side right now. But my hair is a mess. I'm still in my workout clothes. I'm still sitting here in my workout clothes. So.
Oh, that might bring the viewers in right there. You might do that again.
I need to go upstairs and take a shower.
I'm also in my workout clothes.
Yes, we're both still in our work. It's been quite a day.
We've been moving. We've been moving nonstop since I woke up at 3:45 this morning, and have not stopped moving since. I lied. I did take a 20-minute meditation nap, and that was it.
I have not taken a single nap. I didn't get up at 3:45.
It wasn't a nap. It was a 20-minute meditation that I fell asleep.
I did not get up at 3:45. I got up at 6, and I have been going nonstop. Today I was, let's see, what did I do today? I went to 2 doctor's appointments, like I said. I used a saw for the first time in my life. I figured out how to use it, and I cut a bunch of 2x4s to get my closet framework situated, and then I used a Craig jig and I drilled pocket holes, and then I drilled the 2x4s into each other with the pocket holes that I drilled, and so I did that today. And what else did I do? Oh, I bathed my son, and I picked up my daughter from cheer practice, and what else did we do? We went to the gym. What else did we do? I made a sandwich.
I worked 6.5 hours.
I made a sandwich for Trevor. I made a sandwich for myself. I just made waffles for the kids. I cleaned up a mess. Jesus. I've been moving nonstop.
Mark tried to order some gear. It is not the site. It is the country I'm in not allowing deliveries from where your site is.
Oh, that's strange.
So are they not allowing deliveries from the U.S.? That's where Poker Egg ships from, right? So yeah. Mark, if we mailed you something, would you not be able to get it if we mailed you something from the U.S.? Sound guy said, Craig Jig, you're speaking my language.
You spelled it wrong if I'm actually speaking your language.
Is it really spelled wrong?
It's C. No, it's Kreg. Craig Jig.
Where do you play poker mostly now? What sites? I play on Borgata, New Jersey, and PokerStars, New Jersey. Some Spain. So wait, some
it ships from different countries. It ships from Mexico, Spain, it ships from all over the place.
So Mark, can we can just order a shirt for him and then send it from us, right?
Yes.
So Mark, we can do that if you want, buddy. Just send Jody a message. We'll take care of it. What's the most comfy way y'all sleep? Some people use PJs, some go shirtless. Jody likes to sleep naked.
I do not. Nice try. I don't. I sleep in pajamas, like pajamas, real pajamas. Usually like button soft shirts with buttons and shorts, or like a long sleeve, but they're sets, they match. I like matching pajamas when I sleep. I don't like mismatched pajamas. I feel like it makes me sleep bad.
That was a big upgrade too for you. Before you used to have to sleep in like old shirts because I wouldn't allow you to buy nicer
Yes,
pajamas.
that was one request I had. I said I want. No, it seriously was.
I know,
you
but-
didn't require me. No.
I know. It's not like I was like, hey, listen, budget.
No.
We gotta stick to the budget here. We can't have you spending money on the pajamas.
No. That's not what it was. But I had like, I'd wear like a t-shirt and pajama pants or whatever. And so I kept saying to Trevor, like, I'm an adult and I want adult pajamas. So I wear like, pajama sets, like the button-down collar and shorts. Usually always shorts, and then either a long sleeve shirt or the short sleeve button-down.
Fortune said waffles for dinner?
For the kids, yes. Very nutritious.
Oh, by the way, I sleep. I know you guys are wondering. I sleep with basketball shorts. Like
mesh shorts.
Mesh shorts, and no shirt, topless in the bed. I had to sleep. I couldn't sleep with a shirt on. Couldn't sleep with pants on. Couldn't sleep with just boxers on. No, that's how I have to sleep.
Yeah, no underwear. Top, bottom, no underwear.
That's for you.
That's for me.
Okay.
Yes, no socks. None of that shit.
Daniel said, I told Trevor you and Trevor should do a tag team mukbang on the live stream where you feed each other. Still no poker or online betting in Arizona. Yeah, it's rough, man. I hopefully some of the other states will get it soon for you guys because it's great. He said it was autocorrect. I don't use it much, but I do have one.
Well, I bought it recently for this project, and I use it for the first time ever today. So I just watched... Actually, I watched a video before, but then when I went to actually use it, I followed the stupid paper directions in the Craig Jig package. And it was the easiest thing ever. Just like the Sol was very simple. My dad gave it to me and then said, if you have any questions, call me. And so I called him today, and then he texted me and said, I'm on a conference call. What do you need? So I Googled it, and I found it, and I figured it out. And so, yes, I was chopping wood and drilling wood and then screwing the screws in. I was doing all the things.
All right, here's a good one.
Okay.
Jody, what's Trevor's most used emoji?
What's Trevor's most used emoji? I don't know. You don't use emojis a lot. I gotta go back and look at our conversation. Let's see. Look, no emojis. Oh, I didn't use any either. There's some. Still none.
Wait, what do you mean? I just sent a bunch of them right there.
No, you didn't. They're from me.
Oh, that's you talking to me. That's
I'm
right.
over here. You're
That's right.
over here.
Oh my God, you use them all the time. Wow.
I know what I use the most. Yeah, Trevor does not really ever use emojis at all. Look. None.
You use them a lot. Wow.
I do. I use them all the time. I love emojis. I can use them for everything.
I mean, Jody's most used emoji has to be the laughing, crying face.
Yeah, the one that makes you old. That's fine. With the side part and the skinny jeans. I will never let go of my skinny jeans. The side part I don't care about. But I'm not letting go of my laughing face either. Look, no emojis. Let's see, where are we back at? I need to find the date. Sunday. No emojis since Sunday. So I don't know.
All right. Sleeping with a shirt for guys is uncomfortable. Agreed. Okay, describe each other as an emoji. Just kidding. I was just kidding.
It's fucked up.
Okay, I know one. 100%. The best emoji for Jody is the fire emoji. Okay. You have one for me?
I'm looking.
All right, she's looking up for one for me. Ben, what's up, Ben? Ben wants to know if we've been vaccinated yet.
Nope.
We have not been vaccinated yet. Hopefully very soon.
We're too young and too healthy. It's not open yet in New Jersey, not until May 1st.
Jody Thinks, lumber prices. What are your thoughts on lumber prices, Jody?
I don't know what lumber prices were before last week when I purchased lumber. So, like, I wasn't thrilled when I had to pay $48 per sheet of plywood, but, you know, it is what it is. The 2x4s were like $6 or $7 a piece, so that didn't bother me.
Daniel said to be careful, don't go losing any extremities.
Oh, my dad told me that too. He told me to watch my fingers.
Mark said Jody's would be the middle finger.
It's actually not, surprisingly. I do use it, but I actually don't use it too often. I used to use it more often, but I feel like I haven't used it. I don't use it anywhere near as much as I used to. I was looking for a Buddha emoji. I don't see one. I don't, probably just like, here, this is, I can't, how am I supposed to do this? Oh, I got it. Like this. Okay. I'm going to show you what the emoji is that describes Trevor.
Lumber prices are insane. Yeah. Jody, you and Trevor should wear matching skinny jeans. What do you think about that?
No.
The vaccine is free for us, yes.
WTF.
I mean, that's fine, right?
I guess. All right. Here it is, everybody.
Did Jody go to the lumber yard and squat, bench press all the lumber to the car all by herself?
I went to Home Depot, and I did not go by myself. I went with Trevor, and we, so you know at Home Depot when they have the carts, and they have like the big things that go like this, so you can you can take large sheets of things and put it in the cart, like stand it up, and it keeps it, it can't go anywhere. We got one of those carts, and Trevor was we were pulling the large sheets of plywood off, but they were it was pine, really nice furniture making pine. I don't know what was it called? Radiata pine or whatever. So we were pulling those sheets off, and Trevor was going to try to lift it up over the cart. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? We're just going to slide it in. We don't need to lift it up and over.
Just slide it in, Trevor, she said.
Yeah. So
just slide that wood in, Trevor.
That's right. Slide that wood right in there. So, yeah, but no, Trevor was helping me. And then, yeah, that's it. I didn't carry the huge sheets of plywood on my own.
What's your opinion on piercings? Are there any you would never get?
There's plenty I would never get.
Which ones would you never get?
I would never get any more piercings ever again.
Oh, so you wouldn't get anything pierced now?
No, not now. Mm-mm. I had my belly button pierced. Had my ears pierced.
Mark says the Trevor emoji for him is the cool guy with the sunglasses. Blessed and so relaxed. Life is cool for Trevor. And Jody, the star with the stars in the eyes.
Thanks.
Chris, thank you so much. Chris said he's been listening to the podcast this week. It's great. Thank you very much, Chris. We appreciate that very much. That's our pride and joy.
What was your favorite quote? I need to know right now. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your favorite quote just from any episode or just...
I'm just kidding.
I
hear sirens.
There's Dalton said he described Jody as the hands, right? And Trevor as the hearts. Nice. I like it. Yeah, we do.
What the hell is this? Why is there a peach?
I missed the peach. Maybe there's the peach emoji for you from Silent Sound Guy.
Silent Sound Guy, are you talking about my ass right now?
I think he is. Allegedly. Allegedly is his favorite quote.
That is not right. That is not right.
Chris, you're the man. That's great.
Not right.
Oh my god! Wait, did we bring this up?
I don't think so, but that's
hilarious.
My
god, Dalton, that's hilarious. So Dalton said Trevor only married Jody because he needed someone to tell the waitress his mashed potatoes are cold. So the one day I saw 5 different memes that were talking about how it was the wife standing up for her laid back husband or whatever, and I was like dying because that's totally true. You know, Jody's very outspoken, a little loud, you know, etc. And
Did you just call me loud?
yeah, I mean, you said falking like 15 times.
I didn't say falking. Falking is not a word.
But that's the best. The guy said he had to marry somebody to tell his waitress that the mashed potatoes are cold. It's so great. I can't talk.
Going back for a second. No, I never had an eyebrow piercing, and I would not get an eyebrow piercing. And that is my favorite fruit. I fucking hate peaches, actually. If you want to get, like, technical. I think peaches are one of the grossest fruits on the planet.
You've definitely snacked on a few peaches.
Peaches are nasty. Those kind of peaches. The one in the picture. Anyway.
Daniel's favorite RTN quote is allegedly also.
That is not right. That's so messed up. I'm shaking the whole damn table. Not right.
Do you remember what episode that was from?
No, I don't. I'm gonna take it off.
That's great. Oh boy. Okay, I think it's about time we wrap this one up. Right?
I don't. What time is it?
It's 9:20.
No, we have 8 minutes
No,
left.
you want to go for the last 8 minutes? We can go for the last 8 minutes.
You can't cancel the. Are we frozen?
Maybe. Dalton said he'd eat a peach anyway.
What is with you tonight and the boys?
Listen, this one's for the boys, you know? Do you guys have any more questions? We got 8 more minutes of this live stream. You guys can ask us anything you want. And good to see you as well, Mark.
Yep.
Next week, it'll be 6:30 a.m. for you. Tune in then. Or you can just wait till 7:30.
Not frozen?
He just said it's not frozen. You just said it's the screen frozen.
It was on our screen.
Yeah.
Trevor's got it up over here, and it was frozen for a second.
All right. Ben Adler with an important question.
No, you should not. That sounds awful. I love cheesecake. It's one of the desserts that I would actually eat. That is not a good idea.
Daniel said the allegedly podcast was the one I wet myself to and left my Stitcher review for that one that went missing. Daniel, you're doing quite a job on the word allegedly. Fortune wants to know how the DIY projects are going.
Good. They're going good. That's what we talked about that earlier. I cut the 2x4s today to make the frame for the closet thing, and I drilled pocket holes, and I screwed the frame together. So the frame is now in the base of the closet. Now I'm just kind of stuck because I have to cut the giant sheet of plywood, and all I have here is a miter saw and a jigsaw, and I really don't feel like using a jigsaw to cut, 4 feet across. So I asked my dad if he had something if he had, I guess he has a table saw or something that I could run it through, but he has not responded. So.
I assume there's no one here right now that has not clicked the like button.
I haven't.
But if you are here and you haven't clicked it, this is the time to do so. Dalton's going to Hawaii in 3 weeks. Dalton, how are you going to Hawaii?
Seriously, who's taking you? You got a sugar mama?
Are you just assuming that he can't afford to take himself?
I mean, he's like 10. I'm just kidding, Dalton. I know you're not 10. I know you just celebrated a birthday, and you're like at least 23, I think.
22, I think, right?
I don't
know. He was 21 before.
I don't know.
All right, here's a very important thing also from Ben Adler. He's had dreams of feeding me cheesecake. Is that weird?
Yes.
It depends on if we're wearing clothes or not.
That's very weird.
Yeah, Chris's question got answered already. It's not the restroom, though, right? You're working on the closet.
It's a closet. Yes, no, not a bathroom. It's
How?
a front coat closet, like in the entryway in our foyer, and I'm turning it into like a bench and hooks and shelves and totally different.
All right, deep question here from Boss. You might be able to spend 5 minutes on this one.
Okay.
How do you know if you're ready for a kid?
Don't ask us. I can't spend 5 minutes on this.
That's how long we spent trying to decide whether we should do it or not.
Yeah, this is it. You ready? Let's have a kid. All right, let's do it. Done. So.
That was the conversation that we had 13 years ago.
Yes.
Wow. We're going to have a 13-year-old this year.
Yes. No, actually, we had that conversation 14 years ago because, she had to incubate for a while. She's almost 13. She had to incubate, or was it?
Yeah, she was incubating right now, 13 years ago.
Okay.
13 years and 3 months ago is when I put it in you.
Jesus.
The baby, I mean. What other DIY projects are you doing?
Well, I have our stairs. I ripped all the carpet off of our stairs, so now I have to do quite a number to those. So that's probably the next thing that I'll do. But I'm also decorating as I go. So we're having the house painted at the end of the month, and I would like to. We have a really long half wall that separates our living room and our dining room, and I would like to change the top of the half wall because I hate it. And I'd like to completely redo our fireplace because it's just a builder grade fireplace. And eventually a brand new kitchen.
Can your hardware store not cut it to size for you?
They can. They actually cut it down for us, but I didn't have the exact measurement at the time that we bought it. And I'm not taking it back. So I can just take it to my dad's house and cut it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, you know what? Sound guy said a circular saw on a straight edge is good. So he probably has a circular saw. My dad, I could probably just borrow that because I know I'm not moving the table saw over here. So
does Trevor lay that wood good? He said the ticket was only $420 a person, week-long round trip. Wow,
nice.
That's wild. All right, how do you time workouts with fasting?
We just generally break fasting on those days. So we go to the gym every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and the kids go to school Tuesday, Thursday. So what do? We take the kids to school, and once we drop off Andrew, he's the last to go. He gets dropped off at 8:30, and once we drop him off, we go right to the gym, and then we usually have recovery drinks in the car. So Vital Proteins recovery drink. So it has protein and electrolytes and stuff in it. And so we'll drink that, and then we usually go out to breakfast and have a breakfast. But we actually, technically, we do not fast because we drink bulletproof coffee, and we always add collagen protein to the coffee in the morning. So we're technically not fasting, but we don't eat our first meal on other days until probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Fortune is dead on with this. You're definitely never ready for a kid, but you figure it out. That's 100% true.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unless you're my brother and his wife who timed their children down to the month. I don't. Who does that? Nobody does that.
Does Trevor get any votes on the decorating?
He doesn't want any. I mean, I always ask him, what do you think of this? And he's like, yeah, it looks good. I don't care.
we talk. You'll ask me opinions on things, and I'll say stuff.
Always ask.
But she has such a good eye for this stuff and is so much better at that stuff than me and cares about it. I could live in a box somewhere and not give a shit at all as long as there was a computer where I could play poker on it. All right, last question here. My wife is in love with the new House Fixer show because the guy is from New Kids on the Block. Should I leave her? Going on 8 years and 3 kids.
I thought my cousin sent me something and told me that I think it's Jordan, maybe Jordan Knight.
Oh yeah, he's a good looking dude.
Why would you leave her though?
I mean, did the guy from New Kids on the Block come to your house and take her?
No, you shouldn't leave her.
All right, last question for real. What does collagen protein do, and what does it do for coffee?
It doesn't do anything for coffee. It has almost no flavor. There's a super slight flavor. Some people don't even taste it at all. But collagen protein is the only thing that I don't love about collagen protein is that it's not a complete protein. So it's missing, I think, 1 or 2 amino acids. I think it's just 1. But it's good for your hair and your skin and your nails. Plus you're getting protein, and it's good for your joints and all that good stuff.
All right. Thank you guys as always for joining us on this Thursday night. If you guys would like to hear more of us, please go listen to the podcast. It's the Raising Nuts podcast, available on all podcast platforms. It comes out every Wednesday, 5 a.m. Eastern. There's been 87 episodes. If you haven't listened to all 87 of them, you can go back and listen to them again. You can leave a review for us there on Apple as well, which is very important to us. And we do read those on the podcast each week. And then if you'd like any merchandise, Raising Nuts merchandise or other awesome poker shirts, go to pokerrags.us. There's an aspiring whale design that's pretty great. There's the new Play Every Hand design. That's also great. You should check that one out. And you have anything else to say, Jody?
Do you know what I did last week several times?
What?
And didn't even realize it
What?
until I watched back?
What?
I called this the podcast.
Did you really?
Repeatedly.
Oh, my God.
Repeatedly.
This is the live stream. We do this every Thursday. This was episode 64. Thank you guys who join us every week. We appreciate you. And we'll be back next Thursday for episode 65, as well as the Solve for Why thing again. Maybe I'll have a guest next time. I don't know. But until then, listen to the podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good